Good morning. I'm with Adam Taylor, owner and CEO of Splendor Design Group. And again, I'm Curt Gemme. This is the New Norm video series that we've just started a few weeks ago. And we're talking about how things have been affected in the space of commercial real estate and what we call our ancillary or companies that we work with in and around that space. Adam is again, owner and CEO of Splendor Design Group. Century Commercial as a company retains his firm to help us do all of our social media, branding, advertising, etc. And so I've known Adam for the last 8 months, and I wanted to bring Adam on to talk about what the new norm looked like for him and his company. So Adam, what did you do to pivot when we started what we call quarantine? So what did that look like for you and your team?
Yeah, we started smelling a little smoke, so to speak, early in March, and I started wondering right away, are we going to get caught off guard? So made some plans pretty early on in March to start thinking about it, asking people what their home workstation situations looked like. This is probably the first week of March. By the beginning of the second week of March, I was sending emails out to all the team, and I said, hey guys, this could actually become a thing. So we need to be ready. We need to be prepared. If someone does not have a work from home station, let's talk about it and figure out what we need to do. We did have a few folks that were not well equipped at home, or they had a system at home, but it wasn't quite up to speed. Most of our workstations, as a branding, design, marketing firm, we have a lot of big, heavy-duty files, like video files, several gigabytes in size. So
Totally understand.
We're processing a lot of pixels, a lot of data. We need pretty hardy workstations. We're an all-Mac shop. So it's expensive stuff. I don't expect everybody to have that at home. So a few folks did bring their workstations from the office back home, got set up within, I think it was, less than 24 hours. I pulled the trigger, I think it was March 12th, which is right around the time that everybody that we were talking to suddenly said, hey, we need to maybe make a move here. We were a couple of days ahead of what I think the big wave was. And even then people were saying, oh, you're going home? You're going to work from home? You're crazy. You're alarmist. You're this, you're that. And 2 days later, literally, it was a flood of everybody going home. So I don't want to say I was there first and try to be too cool.
Yeah, I know.
But we were pretty early.
We sort of hit the same. I think our office that Monday was the 13th. I think it was, and
yeah.
We pulled back about the same time that you guys did.
Yeah.
And so we sort of hunkered down and figured out what were we going to do to sort of ride it out. And then of course at that point you don't think it's going to be 3-4 months. So once your team got settled, what did you see happening across your client base? Did you go into sort of contain and control and just support mode? What did that look like?
It was pretty reactive in the beginning. So exactly like you're describing, contain and control, touching base with all of our clients as much as possible to find out where they were. I mean, everyone was sort of in this panic mode initially, and they're trying to make sense and keep their heads above water with regard to everything that was going on. But we very early started looking at, hey, do you guys need any help with this? What can you do? We started to look at the financial forecasts for the economy and so forth. So generally speaking, I would tell you our clients are predominantly B2B service providers. We do have a pretty big specialization in commercial real estate, but we also have a handful of retail and consumer brands that we work with as well. Those businesses definitely got hit way harder than the CRE businesses and the B2B businesses. So we did have some fall off from those consumer brands and retail brands pretty early on. Some of them have come back now that there's a gradual reopening, but there was a bit of a dip there. But about a year ago, we had conversations about this looming recession that could potentially hit. What does Splendor want to do to be prepared for that? And one of the things I said was, well, we've kind of identified commercial real estate as one of the industries that we have good experience in, we've got good expertise in, and we actually have a lot of faith in the field in terms of businesses being pretty well equipped to weather all kinds of storms, financial recessions, and whatnot. That's some of the, you think about a restaurant, they live and die day to day based on how many tickets they write, how many sandwiches they sell, or how many online, pairs of shoes or T-shirts they sell. That's pretty challenging in an environment like this. But a commercial real estate firm may say, hey, we've got plans for a 5 or 10-year investment or a 20-year life cycle for this development. Certainly no one is recession-proof, in my opinion, but
Sure.
they're a little more focused on the long play rather than the day-to-day, fight and, battle for survival of the smaller.
Absolutely. So you feel like a little bit of diversification maybe prepared you to weather this storm a little differently. So
yeah, I think
that's
so.
Good. That's good. We talk about, and Mark Duclos, president of Century, obviously. We talk about what he calls our tech stack, and as we've evolved as a company, we were sort of brought up on from a collaborative mindset perspective. So we use a lot of different technologies, and we've continued to add year after year after year, and trying to stay current, with that. I know you talked about being in a Mac environment. What did the work from home, I'll call it tech stack, because we had Zoom, we got GoToMeetings, we got Teams. So what piece of your business from an infrastructure standpoint did you start to lean on? What do you think what did you like about it? And what do you think you're going to adapt and kind of keep moving forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. So about 5 years ago, we were still on a physical server in our office that was 10 terabytes, and all of our files were stored on that. 20 years worth of files all fit on this 10 terabyte drive. And I didn't like the idea that all the files were in the office all the time. So to set up a VPN, virtual private network, so that people could remote in from home, we didn't do a whole lot of remote work. A lot of businesses in our field do, but we really like the open space office collaboration. Let me lean over the desk, let me walk across the room, and we work very collaboratively like that in an open space. So the work from home thing wasn't that big of an issue for us, but I still didn't like the idea of being tethered to this physical machine in our office. So we made the switch to move all of our files to the cloud not too long ago. It's been a few years now, and it took a while to do that, to really get everybody transitioned to using what we use as Dropbox. So I think that it's pretty secure. There's always risks that your files could get hacked and held ransom. Like anybody that could hack into our main system and hold the server ransom, they can hold your files on the cloud ransom too.
Absolutely. It's interesting when I started shooting, I started shooting video in quarantine off of the iPhone 11. And then I started putting and having never done that before, and then started editing it together with the iMovie software that is part of the Mac environment on the phone. And it's funny because from a technology standpoint, I have an older Mac, 2014, and it doesn't process the same way that the iPhone 11 is going to process. Yeah. So it's funny how quickly these things become outdated.
So fast.
And then the whole idea of having to move files around, and I joke with Alex, your director there of the group. I joke with her about, this is great. I've got a big fat file now. What do I do with it? So
massive.
It's massive.
Video files are huge.
I can't even imagine, the amount of storage. So certainly the cloud concept has been fantastic.
Yeah.
You mentioned the open space kind of collaborative work environment, and we are also in the process of finalizing, hopefully, a change of office environment. Yeah. And it's
seen a little sneak preview of what that new space looks like, and I'll tell you, it is off the charts.
It's off the charts. So it's the open, sort of environment, and obviously people, I think, moving forward and bringing people back, they're talking about more spaciousness, not necessarily more space, but more space between people. So that's an interesting challenge. And I've been to your offices in Red Bank. What do you foresee in terms of bringing your people back? What are the challenges from a physical space perspective, and then what are the challenges from a health and wellness standpoint? And as an executive, you face both. So what are your thoughts there?
Yeah. So obviously, the priority has got to be safety and health of all the employees. So regardless of comfortability, I don't want anybody getting sick, and I don't want that for our employees or any clients that come to visit. We've always kind of had this tight-knit, close, bullpen-esque kind of open workspace. It's really cool. Every time we come into work, we're like, oh yeah, I forgot. This is a great place to be at work. Every day it's this rediscovery. That's got to change because we've got people in this. It's almost like a New York office, kind of crammed in environment, and everybody's pretty tight. We don't need a whole lot of room. There's no big blueprints or anything like that. It's people at a computer workstation. So if you've got enough room for a cup of coffee and your 27-inch monitor, you're pretty much good to go. Actually, most of our folks are on dual monitors, but you don't need 6 feet across. But we're going to need 6 feet across now in between people. So we need to figure out how we can spread out enough. We're talking about plexiglass barriers between workstations. We have 2 people across from each other, next to 2 people across, next to 2 people across. I'm afraid it's going to become a house of glass here with, big plexi separators between everybody. Yeah. But we've got a pretty small office space for our team. And the truth is I'm starting to consider, hey, we need to look at some alternative possibilities, which, it's going to break my heart because we've been in the same space almost 10 years and we really love this second story Main Street USA kind of locale. But we have to think about the safety and the health of the team and our clients as well. So it's a little tricky, but there may be some opportunities there. I did speak to Mark Duclos about this a couple weeks ago, and he said, now's the time when you need to look at those things pretty critically, and it could potentially be, part of your position in negotiations for a new lease to say, we need the space when we get back to the office, and you've got big vacant open space, and it's very uncertain. The future is very, uncertain with regard to how many businesses are going to actually survive, how many businesses are going to go back to work, how many are going to stay remote, permanently, indefinitely. So we may actually have a little bit of leverage in that sense if we were to look for a new, bigger space to spread out a little bit more into.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think this is a quickly evolving, situation, and I don't think anybody really quite has the answers yet as to what it's going to look like. Right. I will say, in downtown Hartford, I was to lunch with a property manager of a very large office building, and she said to me that their occupancy in the building on that particular Tuesday was 80 people, and that was up 30 people from the previous couple of weeks. And I said, well, what is your normal occupancy in the building? And she said 3,000.
Oh, wow.
And so, I think about the implication of what she just said. And while on its face, it's like, wow. But then you think of everything that happens around those people, as far as like restaurants and things. And what does it look like? She said that the larger companies in that building are not even considering coming back until after Labor Day. And many of them, maybe not till 2021. So this is going to be an evolving thing as we go. So I think it's going to affect our work environments. It's going to affect, how people feel and think about things. And, we just had the whole machine shaken, it's like dropping a soda, and, it didn't break necessarily, but what's happening inside of,
Yeah.
And so we've got this whole kind of, thing going on that as businesses, we have to watch and see, each week, kind of where things are at. So I respect your challenges. I've been to your offices, and I agree, it's great. And if you could, times that space by 2, your solution probably sitting right in front of you.
Yeah.
And so, it's interesting. And, we're thankful to be involved with an organization like yours, because you guys are seeing it, on the tech side from a social media perspective. And as we've grown those efforts over the last year or so, and it's been great. So
Yeah,
So
likewise.
we appreciate that relationship. So I think the question, that Adam is talking about is what does the client look like today? What are they doing? What are you seeing across your client base? How are they being affected? And what are you hearing? How are you working through those things?
Yeah, so you've probably heard over the years, when the market slows down or when the economy slows down and things are quiet, that's actually a big opportunity for businesses to kind of step up their game and foot on the gas to potentially claim a little bit of a front-running position or a leadership position. Again, I talked to Mark Duclos about a little bit how this could be a little bit of a cleansing out of some of the less prepared or less qualified businesses in different categories. But the ones that are established and the ones that have solid plans and an appetite and appreciation for marketing, and of course I'm speaking as someone in the field, so of course I'm going to believe this, but I really do believe that there is opportunity to put your foot on that gas pedal and to claim that kind of a leadership opportunity and position. So whether it's reinvesting in your business, upping your activity on social media or your email campaigns, getting your name out there, getting visible, letting the world know that not only are you surviving, but you're going to continue to prosper because you are prepared, you are a leader in your category, and you're someone that can be relied upon and trusted. That's not just folklore. I think that's really a true opportunity for those who are willing to sort of step up and make it happen.
Yeah, you make a good point, and Mark and I have talked about this quite a bit. You become a counselor and a consultant in today's business environment, and the people that you've been working with over time, you can help them through this, and then roll out a plan where you are upping the game, maybe adding more spend on the advertising, social media side. And except for us, our company, of course, it's definitely where there's chaos, there's opportunity, and Mark, I think, is seeing it across the industry and his position as president of SIOR, where some of those smaller companies that didn't have a good tech stack had not sort of progressively invested in their back end are really feeling the pain today. And,
yes, agreed.
So I think it's important to have that vision, and it's certainly not too late. This is a game changer, and a lot of people are going to fall by the wayside, and there's going to be some new industry and new companies born as a result of it. So we're seeing it go both ways, and we're fortunate to be in a space where the e-commerce business is growing at a rapid rate, as you know. And we're in a good distribution area, so we're seeing some benefits across the board from that standpoint. So I agree with you, Adam. I think it's a great time to take a look at what you're doing and come up with a game plan for 2021 and the rest of 2020. So
agreed.
Sounds good.
Good.
All right, I appreciate it again, and we'll catch up soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, Curt.